Hi everyone, my name is Kai and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Digix. So thank you all very much for taking the time to join us for this live Q&A session today. We have a really broad agenda planned out and I'll just begin with a short introduction about who we are. So just a little bit about myself. I was working in finance as a stockbroker and a currency dealer on Wall Street with a major investment bank. So I spent 4 years on the street, and the experience led me to start Digix together with my co-founders in 2014, as I saw how broken the monetary system was and how there was a need for alternative finance and wealth preservation. I also realized that blockchain was here to stay and we could push for something great together. Now, Anthony is the CTO of Digix and Sean is our marketing and business development manager, and we're all co-founders in this business together. So Anthony, if you could give a brief introduction about your background, that would be much appreciated.
Yes. Yeah, my name is Anthony. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Digix. I've been in software development for about 18 plus years. I've worked at Intel, NASA, several Wall Street banks. I have been involved in Ethereum since Proof of Concept 1 release in January of 2014. I did the first ever Ethereum transaction on Frontier, and I'm also the lead developer of the Ethereum Ruby library, which you can use on GitHub to develop Ethereum-based Ruby apps on Ruby. That's about it.
Great. And Sean, yourself?
Right. Hi, my name is Sean. I'm part of the co-founding team here at Digix, and I led the marketing and business development efforts. So I joined Digix a little less than a year ago when Kai approached me to organize a seminar for the Ethereum Foundation's visit to Singapore. That event was a huge success as we got an outreach to almost 100 people attending the 2-day seminar. And since then, I developed a huge interest in Ethereum and the blockchain space. Having also previously worked in the banking sector like Kai, in specific the structuring and sales team of retail structured products in a global investment bank, I definitely saw the prospect and challenges blockchain technology can bring to this industry. Hence, I grew more interested and decided to join Digix full-time and develop this business together with this team here. On the side as well, I took up the initiative to be the lead coordinator of Ethereum Singapore Meetup Group, the largest of its kind here in Asia. And it's definitely through that I'm able to reach out to the local community to hear what they want to see and do my best for any keynote sessions that I speak at. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I'll begin with a brief introduction to what the core business of Digix is, and then I'll give you the vision we have for DigixDAO. All right, so Digix essentially is an asset tokenization platform on the Ethereum blockchain where we put digital gold tokens and gold assets on Ethereum. So we came up with a protocol to prove the existence of assets on the blockchain as well as mitigate counterparty risk. This protocol itself is an asset tracking system combining blockchain technology and real-world governance. Now, more information about this process can be found in our white paper on our main site. So we have created a safe, verifiable, and transparent mechanism for gold-backed assets and tokens. The contracts have been deployed live on Ethereum for this platform on January 15. And so far we have seen about $35,000 worth of sales revenues in the past few weeks since we have launched beta. We have reason to believe that digital gold is highly scalable with the community support. Now, Ethereum itself is essentially a super infrastructure, a supercomputer where everyone is free to build applications on. And with its really open nature would make it very easy for gold tokens to be integrated into any future developments on the blockchain without any permissions. So just to provide a few examples of what these gold tokens can be used for. They can be used to pay for goods and services online. They can be used as a form of wealth preservation. You can even use them to make a market on Augur. They can also be used to develop various collateral or lending platforms that will emerge in the coming months on Ethereum. All right, so what exactly is DigixDAO? Now, DigixDAO is a way for all of us in the community to work together to achieve scalability directly. Instead of a company or an individual issuing shares, a software protocol does this, and it issues the DAO tokens. Now, the reason why this is beneficial is that it allows for the creation of economic incentives where local jurisdiction and its laws are not required. So in essence, this allows for active financial inclusion of the masses. Individuals can build what they want the organization to be. So instead of using a traditional top-down approach to building a company, Digix is more of a bottom-up governance, where Digix, essentially the employees of the DAO, submit project proposals to build the platform the way you token holders want it. So token holders have the final say as to what projects and what kind of budgets should be approved or not. And it's not Digix themselves. So it helps to create a real revolution for change, because if enough people came together, it gives DigixDAO a lot more sovereignty, a lot more credibility to push for changes that we all want. In short, it represents the voice of the people. So to just reiterate, DigixDAO is structured in such a way that the individual that supports Digix have a direct impact and influence in developing this Go platform and be rewarded for it. Now, in return for your support, you get a couple of rewards in the process. One, the transaction fees of Gold tokens on the network based on the number of DigixDAO tokens that you hold. Two, as mentioned, you have a voice in directing developments around the Digix Go platform by being able to pledge your approval or rejection of project proposals. So that's essentially, in short, what Digix does and what DigixDAO represents. I'll just hand over the time now to Anthony to explain how project proposals work in detail.
Hi guys. So the way that project proposals work, it sort of mimics the way that a company with its board members would do project initiatives for a company. The way that we start it is we have the DAO tokens which are issued to the Crowdsale participants. Will have a vote, and there's a special kind of token that is also given to people who are holding who have invested more than $15,000 worth during the crowd sale. They get a badge called a proposer badge, and this is essentially a token that allows them to proposals and put those proposals up for a vetting. A vetting basically is sort of a vote whether or not to put a proposal up for a general election. So you have, let's say we have about 100 people that are holding the proposer badges. They would be able to submit a proposal that contains information about the project's budget, how much ether the project will need to complete, and that will be put into a vetting queue. The vetting queue basically allows the founders and the proposers to vet on that proposal, and if it gets majority, it gets into the general pledging queue. And the pledging queue basically allows everybody who holds the DigixDAO token to put a vote against relative to their number of tokens into pledging and they can either approve or decline a project. When a project gets approved, the funds gets released to work on that project. If it gets declined, then the proposal is canceled. It's a pretty straightforward system. It's two-tiered to prevent spamming. So if we didn't have this vetting process in place, then it would allow anybody to submit multiple number of proposals, and it would it would spam the system. So the proposer badge is sort of a stopgap mechanism for spam protection. And so once you have a project completed, more proposals can then be submitted. And during the election process, each token represents a portion of the share of the DAO. So for example, you have 30 tokens, and another person has 1 token. You would have 30 votes on that as a pledge. So you're pledging based on the number of tokens that you have, and your tokens get returned to you. So the tokens actually come back to you after the election has settled. This prevents you from sending out your tokens in the middle of an election to spam the system or to cheat the system. You guys can ask me more questions later during the Q&A section, but that's pretty much the general overview of how the DAO proposal system works.
Great. All right. So I guess we're ready to open the floor to questions, and we'll answer as best as we can. Thank you.
Yep. So you may post questions on the right-hand panel as well, under the question box. We have a couple of questions coming through. The first question by Sheikh was, will there be a step-by-step manual for the Crowdsale procedure?
Yes. So we will include instructions on how to set up your Ethereum wallet to receive the DAO tokens, and how to send your tokens from an exchange or from your wallet to the DAO to get the join to participate. We'll have screenshots of everything, and we will also include download links to the latest version of the Mist wallet that we will be supporting. So everything will be provided, and we will also be on our chat room during the entire Crowdsale process to help people with any issues that they have.
Yeah, but I believe you can always reach out to us on our Slack chat or drop us an email on the support@digixglobal.com email, so we can answer your question over the Crowdsale. And for non-crypto users or new crypto users, we will be providing a list of exchange where you could go to obtain cryptocurrencies. However, this will not be something that it's on a official advice from us. Next, we have a
Yes, we will
question.
provide everything, step-by-step instructions as far as how to get Bitcoins or how to get Ether. So all these things will be provided to make it easier for anybody to participate. And like I said earlier, we will be on chat, and we will be available to help you guys walk you through that process. And we'll have screenshots on all the steps as well.
All right, so we have a question from Simon. Is there an example of a project that could be proposed on Digix? I think Anthony could probably explain in a technical as well as a non-technical project kind of way.
Right, absolutely. So some examples from a technical standpoint would be developing a new peer-to-peer lending platform that would increase the transactions on the Digix Gold tokens. Basically we can create a new lending platform. We can create exchange software that exchanges can use to integrate our tokens into their exchanges to accept Ether over Digix tokens. We can also, you guys can also propose projects that will doesn't necessarily have to directly affect Digix Gold tokens, but can affect the use of Ethereum. For example, EtherX. We were planning on suggesting doing the security audit for the EtherX decentralized exchange on Ethereum, which would also help Digix Gold tokens, because that means that you will be able to trade your gold tokens on against any other Ethereum asset in a decentralized fashion. Another project that might not be technical would be doing marketing for Digix Gold tokens to help increase the use of the Digix Gold tokens to the general community. We can do like advocacy projects and basically anything that you guys can think of that would help Digix, the DAO itself, like receive more transactions. That would be up for consideration. And we will also have an open forum that people can suggest things. So even if you do not have a proposer badge, you can still recommend things, and we will discuss that and see if it's something that is worth putting up for a proposal.
Yeah, it could be as simple as a user interface function as well, if you would like to see it on the web-based client that we had not probably thought of or was not in any iteration that was available. So next question from Simon again is can the crowd sale be actually funded directly with fiat currency or only with Bitcoin? I believe the crowd sale can only be purchased through cryptocurrencies that we will be partnering with Shapeshift. Yeah. Anthony or Casey, you'd like to add more on this?
Yeah, so we can only accept cryptocurrencies that are supported on Shapeshift.io. So that includes Bitcoin, Ether, Dash, and a growing number of the cryptocurrencies that they support because we are using them as our uh, payment platform, so to speak. So we will be so as far as fiat is concerned, we will be providing you guys with a way to exchange your fiat currencies uh, for cryptocurrency of your choice. Of course, this is not any official endorsement of these companies. We'll just provide you with links of exchanges where you can do that in wherever country you reside in.
Okay, yeah, I think that was a great point to answer that. Next, we have an interesting question as well. Can token holders who jointly have 15,000 worth of tokens, but they don't individually have a proposal badge, gain any right to submit a proposal? I think it's referring to like
Uh,
a pooling concept.
yes. So basically, what you can do is you can create a polling contract. So you can pool your you can pull your funds and then pay to a from a single address, and that single address would own it. I can actually share you guys a sample contract that you deploy in Ethereum to facilitate that. That's actually a very good question. I think that some people would like to see that, where it would be a sub-organization for people that do not have 15,000 to invest, that they can join a group to participate as a proposer. So that's a very good question, and I will share an example contract that you guys can deploy. Of course, that there's caveats to that you guys have to trust each other, that you guys will do it equitably among yourselves and not cheat. So there's caveats to it, but yes, absolutely, you can do it.
Great, yeah, I think that was a great point. And the next question from Sheikh is, could we please talk about the legal issues that DGX may have had, or how do we plan to overcome them? Casey, you may want to address on the legal concerns in the jurisdiction that we operate in, which is in Singapore.
Yeah, sure. So Singapore laws, as mentioned, they're very simple and straightforward. Virtual currencies are not recognized as legal tender, nor are they securities. And we're not the first company to offer virtual currencies to gold. In fact, there are other companies in Singapore that does that. You have Ripple Singapore, you have Bullion Star. So in fact, we are just one of three companies that has begun to introduce virtual currencies to gold. Now, gold in Singapore as well is considered as just a physical good. It is essentially the same as you purchasing a high-end luxury handbag. It doesn't have the same kind of restrictions that you might see in the USA. So in terms of regulations, we are fine now. We have been in touch with the MAS as well, and they have explicitly responded that they do not regulate consumer gold. It's an explicit email response as well. So far in our progress, we do not have any legal issues. Having said that, we are prepared for it. We have plans to integrate Uport, which is again a identity KYC system that Consensus have come up with. Now this would attach each Ethereum address with a persona, with an identity. So in the event that regulations do come, we are prepared to integrate and move along with it. But right now, we're okay.
Great. As well, in Digix here, we always seek to be very compliant with the jurisdiction of the relevant legal authorities here in Singapore. So we work hand in hand and very closely with the legal authorities here to be always updated with the latest cryptocurrency laws that will be available and applicable to us as a business. And the next question from Premiswa is, what is the vision of Digix in the next 2 to 5 years?
Sorry, can you say that again? What is the
So
The
the question
vision.
is, what is the vision of Digix in the next 2 to 5 years?
Yeah, so a couple of things. We plan to list various other assets on the blockchain. So essentially, Digix is an asset tokenization platform, which means that we could as easily tokenize diamonds, title ownership deeds, anything that requires documentation on the blockchain. So that's one way forward. The other things that we have planned, as mentioned, would be EtherX, as well as integration with payment processors. Just 12 hours ago, I just got off the phone with the Coinify sales manager, and we're looking to have our tokens listed on Coinify, which means that you could actually use Digix tokens to purchase stuff. So whatever we do within the next 2 to 5 years would be focused heavily on promoting the DigixDAO to increasing the volume of transactions of Digix Gold. So you could be, so one of the project proposals that we had in mind would be to integrate Digix Gold tokens into ATM machines as well as debit cards. So it makes it easy for you to spend gold directly from your credit card. This is something that Big Gold has already done, and we believe that we can get there with your support.
Right.
Yes, another idea that that we've been floating around in the past has been building a peer-to-peer lending platform. I have connections in the Philippines. I'm originally from the Philippines, and I have talked to one of the head of the biggest mall properties in Philippines, Robinson's Galleria. It's a very big shopping mall company. They actually even have a department store in Singapore. They're interested in having the gold tokens as a way of a payment system in their malls. The CEO is actually a very big gold bug. He travels to Singapore significantly, and he brings in gold back home to the Philippines pretty much every month. So he's very keen on having Digix Gold as part of a standard payment system. With the Philippines really having, not too many people having credit cards, we thought that that's a very interesting opportunity for us that we can build on. So that's another thing that we were thinking about doing.
Yeah, just one last point regarding this question on the vision of Digix, just to interest a potential DAO user is because I work closely with the meetup groups globally around in Singapore, in Asia, or maybe on a global sense as well. So we always thought, like the main aim or the main synergy goals of Ethereum is to allow every dApp to be able to access the products and services available on each other. So a simple example that could be possible is Digix tokens will be exchangeable for Slockit services, or it could be exchangeable for Augur Wrap tokens for their products and services. So that's something that we envision as well, that all the apps that are available on Ethereum projects could actually work together and utilize each and everyone's products and services. Yeah.
So another thing that we've mentioned earlier was Digix Gold tokens can actually be used on Augur's markets. So you can create a market and use gold as a form of payment to basically create a new market. People would put in gold tokens as a way to bet on a outcome of an event. So you can use any Ethereum-based token can be used on Augur. So that's one of the beauties of Ethereum, is that there's interoperability between the assets without the need for a centralized party.
Right. Right. So I believe the question was pretty much well covered. The next question is, how will we remedy the KYC and AML problem on EtherX if DGD token, are to be traded there?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and this is something that we have really thought about seriously for the last year or so when we were building Digix, is the KYC AML thing. So KYC AML, it has basically two major components to it. The KYC part, which is the know your customer part, and that is basically reliant on an identity an identity system. So basically, you need to be able to, like, companies that are holding virtual currency and exchanging it for fiat will need to be able to account for where those customers receive their coins from. Can you hold on one second? I'm going to turn on. So that's the first part. Is basically there needs to be a service to identify the customer, so that person's address is associated with their identity. And we have we've been talking with the Uport developers to see how they can integrate a KYC component into their identity system. So that's one of the other projects that we would recommend as well for proposal, would be to develop that service. And then the next part is the anti-money laundering part, which is basically being able to track down where those funds are coming from and to determine whether or not it's coming from terror financing or criminal financing. And that can be easily done if you have the KYC part done. Because then the people, the endpoints, such as the exchanges and any other services that are actually putting the assets out of the blockchain into the user's hands in the form of fiat currencies, will then be able to track down those things. So as far as the Digix is concerned, Digix Global, when you redeem physical gold into our system, so when you come to Singapore to redeem the physical gold, we do ask you for a government ID. So that is part of the process already in place. But as far as the inside blockchain thing, that is a project that we are looking to develop.
Right, right. Yeah, and we definitely don't encourage any form of illicit activities that that one uses the DigiD or DGX tokens for. And I think the next question from Alex is, if he wanted to change his gold token for physical gold, how will that be done? So for right now in our business here at Digix Core, which is the gold platform, the redemption of physical gold bars can only be done at the physical gold vault that we have here in Singapore, which is located right next to the international airport.
So we do have, if people do want to redeem physical gold, we do have some minimum amount that you need to have to redeem it, which basically takes your physical tokens, and burns them to redeem the physical asset. So let's say you have 100 grams of the Digix Gold tokens in your wallet. You can then send that to a contract that we have on Ethereum that will convert that for you to a physical gold bar, and then you can then use our system to redeem that physical gold bar at Singapore.
Yeah.
And
right. Yeah. Right. That will be otherwise known as a recasting process as well, where we allow Digix tokens accumulated in 100 gram or 1,000 gram to be recasted into physical gold bars. The next question from Simon is, to what extent can the value of Digix Gold evolve separately from actual gold value?
Yeah. So in the event that Digix Gold tokens are a lot higher than actual spot paper gold prices, then what would happen would be that there will be an arbitrage opportunity. Someone could easily just purchase a gold bar, mint it, and just flood the market with the gold tokens and bring the price down. Conversely, it would be true if the prices were lower, someone would be able to buy them at a huge discount, recast them, exchange it for physical gold bullion, and proceed to liquidate it. So eventually, we would expect that the prices of Digix Gold tokens to be really close to where spot gold is.
Right. The next question from Premiswa again is, who will be holding the deposit in gold? So our vaulting facility, Malka Amit, is a partner choice because they are well recognized globally. And the underwriters for Malka Amit themselves, the insurers, are Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's of London are a huge insurance company where they have a market capitalization rate of about 70 billion US dollars. And apart from that as well, they are a highly securitized vaulting service that we have here in Singapore. And not just businesses like us use them. Global banks and global financial institutions who have physical precious item storage as well use their facilities in ton sizes, in container sizes. So they are really big vaulting services that actually provide such kind of service for high net worth clients as well as us. Yeah, Casey, maybe you want to add a point or two on the deposit of gold.
So we basically store it at the free port. So that's essentially the Fort Knox of Asia. It's a maximum security vault. And Malka Amit is also insured by Lloyd. So your gold that you store with us and Malka Amit is also insured.
Yes. And every quarter we do there's a third party that actually does the audits of the physical gold, and we will actually publish the quarterly audits on the blockchain, so anybody can look at our holdings and see that it matches one-to-one on what the blockchain says. So if the contracts say that we have 1,000 kilograms of gold in our vaults, then you will see that the documentation that is signed by our third-party auditor, which is Bureau Veritas Inspectorate. They're a very big auditing firm that specializes in precious metals. They will also we will also publish that document with their signature, showing that we do have 1,000 kilograms worth of gold.
So I think, Anthony, you mentioned the DGD tokens had to be sent during vetting process. Is this similar to the lookup period in stocks?
Yeah, so yes, it is. So similar to the lockup period, and so the basic premise behind locking it is a security measure. So here's the scenario: if we did not lock those tokens up, I can have multiple Ethereum addresses, and I could spread. I could basically vote with one address, and then send my tokens to another address, and then do a double voting. So this prevents double voting. The lockup period basically ensures that the address that is holding the tokens during that time will be the only one to vote with those tokens.
Right, I think it's
Yeah,
a spam measure as well, is to prevent the spam of number of proposals available. So
yes.
yeah, the next question from Alex is how will we know that the goal is there? So I think this brings us back to the point on the proof of asset, where we actually upload all relevant documents pertaining to that particular physical gold bar in the system. It could be from the first receipt of the gold vendor purchase, which we will purchase the gold with your relevant cryptocurrencies through our partner gold vendor, which is ValueMax. ValueMax is actually a listed company here in Singapore on the main board of Singapore Exchange. They are a highly recognized and dependable pawn brokering company that sells LBMA approved PAM Swiss gold bars. So that's the first receipt. The second receipt would be a deposit of this particular gold bar with the assay certificate into Malka Amit. So what Malka Amit is, again, Malka Amit is actually a securitized vaulting services that we engage to store the physical gold. And on a quarterly basis, these gold bars will be audited by a third-party independent auditor, Bureau Veritas Inspectorate. What they actually do is that they specialize in testing for precious metals, precious items across the board, verification and certification services. So they are a trusted party that we actually hire on quarterly basis, as mentioned, to audit every single gold bar and issue out an audit certificate to prove that the asset is still in existence, and all three receipts must tally in the serial number of the gold. This is the way we can actually prove to someone on a blockchain that the gold actually exists there in our vaults. And if you're based in Singapore, you could always request a private audit where you could come physically in person to the vaulting services and take a look at your gold bar which is available.
Yes, like Sean had mentioned, you can in our system, you can request a private audit to be scheduled, and you can come physically at our vault facilities at the Freeport and do a physical audit of the assets. So that's already in place in our system, and we were actually going to make that process a lot easier in the future.
So the next question also is how often will the audit be carried out? So the audit will be carried out every quarter here at Digix on every single gold bar that is available in our vault. Yeah.
It is a quarterly audit.
Yeah. The next question is regarding the Digix Global. So what is the current size of Digix Global in terms of gold volume and Ether? Casey, you may want to address this point here.
Yeah, so we are very transparent with the number of gold bars that we have in our system right now. If you look into our client, hit over to the tab that says Explorer, Recaster, you would see the number of gold bars that's currently in the system. So we have 8 gold bars right now. We're still in a beta live platform phase. Hence, I would think that the volume would increase in the near future.
Yes, we're still in beta. We have a few customers right now that are trying it out for us. But once we go live, I think that we will see some volume
right? So if there are any more questions, you can always post them on the questions panel on the right-hand side. We will answer them here live Q&A. Alternatively, you could always drop us questions on our support page or speak to us on Slack. Yeah. So we just wait a couple more seconds to see if there are any other questions coming through. I think a common question that was asked during previous webinar sessions are where are the Ethereum funds, where are the Ether funds locked up, and how would they be accessed then? How can we actually access them? Anthony, may want to address a little bit more about the Ethereum address that the funds are being held at.
Sure. Yeah. So the DAO itself actually holds the balance of the Ether that's raised. So any funds that we have raised during the crowd sale is locked up onto the contract itself. So if you look at the example here, the funds are locked up into the actual DAO contract, and the DAO contract will then release the funds based on the budget of a proposal. So there's no other way for us to take those funds unless it goes through the whole project flow approval.
Right.
The only other way that can be released is we all voted to dissolve the DAO, which then means that the funds, the Ether funds, will be sent back to the users proportional to what already has been used from previous project.
Okay, I hope that's something that you guys may have in mind as well. So the next question from Alex is, besides any form of voting or pledging rights, would investors also get a percentage of the transactions? Yes, the other incentive that we have for the DGD token holder is to be rewarded based on the transaction fees that are being accumulated here on the Digix Core Go platform. That's definitely something that you can stand to gain as a reward system, as a reward-based system. We don't actually, however, guarantee any form of a transaction volume. I believe on our side, on our FAQ, we actually listed a couple of numbers just for visual explanation's sake. So they are by no means any form of guarantee in the sales volume that we will generate here. However, we definitely, as co-founders and as working for the DAO, we always strive to bring up this. And I think the Eagle actually mentioned about the 2 billion transaction fee. They are, however, just a visual explanation about how this is actually possible on the upside of things. Yeah. So the next question is from Sheikh. He came across the recast address with 5,032 Ether. What does this actually mean?
Are you looking at the recast address for? We can talk about that. I'm not clear about the question itself, but if you are on our Slack chat or send us a support ticket, you can elaborate more on that question.
Yeah, that seems like a question. I think he saw something on the web-based app. I think there's one common question as well that was addressed in previous webinar was, will there be any future crowd sale rounds, or is this 2 million a fixed number of lifetime supply?
Yeah, so basically the DAO can increase the number of tokens through the proposal process as well. There is a scheduled automatic voting for every 2 years to increase the number of tokens, but people can say no to that. But if we do need additional funds or we need to increase the number of tokens, we will. People can propose that, and it will go through the same approval process that we do for projects.
Right. Okay. Casey or Anthony, is there any other points you may want to add on the webinar? I think we've answered almost all the questions that are available on the questions segment. Sheikh, please do send us your question as well on a Slack channel or on the support email link that I've just sent to you, so we may be able to address that in person. I think that question was very specific with regard to an observation you made on the web-based client. Alternatively, you could always drop by our Slack channel, get an invite through the sale page, and we will send you an invite into our Slack. So our home site once again is www.digix.io, and our sale page is sale.digix.io. Yeah. Anthony, Casey, any last points to add on?
Yes, so we're getting close to the crowd sale date. So we do encourage people to share our crowd sale information to any people that you guys know that might be interested in joining. The success of this crowd sale obviously lies on the success of how many people join. So if you guys can share it, create some content, uh, help explain it with people, and encourage them to join our webinars, which we will be doing every twice a week. We have a schedule for Tuesdays and Thursdays, one for Asia time and one for New York time. So if you guys feel that this is something that you guys want to be part of early on, just share our links to people, tweet about them, share them on Facebook, because I think that would help us our success, and would also increase the value of the tokens as well during the crowd sale.
Right, and we will be publishing a couple of press releases over the weeks as a build-up towards the start of the crowd sale. Yeah, and we definitely look forward to having you on board as a DAO member, and definitely, of course, we're always open to questions. So see you guys again in the next webinar. Thank you for attending.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.